Hi, everybody. Welcome to current events for Friday, December 25th, Christmas. Merry Christmas. There's only one paper this week. It's the Driftless Journal combined with the Public Opinion. And it's mostly like photos of people, but there are some stories, so we'll get right to it. Let's see. A Wonderful World of Difference. Burning Bright Community Concert debuts virtually on December 23rd. It's the quiet before each rehearsal that's special. Decora's Burning Bright annual concert founder Kathy Reed said she loves the moments before a Sunday afternoon rehearsal. When the music is ready, the order is established, and she joins co-director Otter Dreaming in the stillness of the song. Otter will always be there before me and will place music out on the pews and talk over the rehearsal order and share a moment's worth of the challenges of our daily lives. Then people start coming in, we greet old friends and meet new ones, and we start warm-ups, and the music happens. The music, a collection of locally composed or arranged selections performed as a true community concert, has been lighting the Decorah area holiday season for 22 years, donating performance proceeds to local nonprofits. This year's offering, A World of Difference, is virtual. It premieres Wednesday, December 23rd at 7 p.m. The link is active through Thursday, December 31st. Maybe we can watch that. So, that sounds like a good thing to listen to and a good way to raise funds. And here is a picture of, them. Otter, Kathy Reed, and I don't remember who the other lady is. Ellen Rockney. Okay, she was a co-founder. Next, we have April in Pieces. 7 Holt House sisters release new book on coping with cancer, loss, and COVID-19. The Holt House sisters, as they are known in the South Winneshiek area, says it's been a bumpy road to recovery from the grief of losing a sister to cancer, along with the last months of COVID-19 lockdowns, but collaborating on a new book has helped them heal. After the loss of their sister to metastatic breast cancer last year, 7 Holt House poets decided to put pen to paper. That trauma of losing a sibling weighed greatly on the family. This is a first-time book writing effort for the group. Well, that sounds like a good way to cope. Here is a picture of all the sisters. And here they are, now the ones who wrote the book. All right. Moving right along. To we will go over to Decorah Elementary students receive musical instrument safety bags. What's that? Check it out. Here's a student playing the recorder. Carrie Lee Elementary music teachers in Decorah are discouraging the spread of aerosols during practice time by using a newly acquired recorder safety bag. The bag allows the school's 4th graders to continue playing the ever-popular recorder, in a safe environment. I just say this as the parent of someone who did play the recorder, and until they're decent at it, it's not popular. But that's like with any musical instrument, and the more you play it, the better you get. Practice makes perfect. So while music companies have bell and mouth covers for several band instruments, there wasn't a product specifically designed for recorders. Carrie Lee Elementary music teacher Sarah Zabornik contacted a retired Minnesota music teacher to create what was needed for those students to be able to play. And they started using the recorder bags in December. That's awesome. Okay, we've got the religion section submitted by Miyoko Laura Demuth called Living Well in the Space Between. Let's see what she has to say. I'm not even sure if Mayoko, Laura, it must be a woman. Okay. When I pick flowers for a vase to be placed on our table at home, I tend to cut the first full of various blossoms and crowd them into the vase, creating an explosion of color. I abide by the more is more theory of flower arranging. Japanese flower arranging, an art form known as ikebana, offers a significantly different approach to creating beauty. Based on ancient principles, ikebana focuses on particular aesthetic values which include a less is more approach, where structure, space, and minimalism are emphasized. Arrangements are open and asymmetrical. The space between the stems is as much a part of the composition as the stems themselves. Beauty arises from the interplay of what is present and what is absent. I confess that my knowledge of Japanese flower arranging is merely informational. I have no hands-on experience of this approach. I find I am attracted to the ikebana aesthetic. Its spacious and calm presentation is appealing. Yet, with even this quite limited exposure to its principles, I sense that we might benefit from exploring the values reflected in this practice. I suspect that many of us arrange our flowers and our lives in a manner that reflects the more is more approach. We tend to shy away from empty spaces in our lives and on our calendars. It's comforting to see a full calendar as it assures us that we are important and needed. We would be missed. A busy agenda may even convince us that we are alive and real. Looking back on this year, I'm guessing that 2020 will be seen as an eventful year, a year that included the COVID-19 pandemic, an extremely divisive presidential election, storms, and wildfires, but the lived experience of this year may be remembered quite differently. This was a year of cancellations, of distance, and masked faces. The life in 2020 may be experienced as a space between in which our more is more calendars are frighteningly empty in response to the presence of a virus among us. All this empty space can cause us to feel uncertain about our actions. We may be regarding this time simply as a period that we must get through somehow. This is a time to merely be tolerated and survived. And now we are looking ahead to holidays that promise to be quite different from any other, perhaps quite empty. If ever there was a time of the year typified by a more is more approach, it is the holidays. There are concerts, gatherings, gifts to arrange for, wrap and deliver. There are carols, lights, celebrations. This year could be providing us the opportunity to learn what space and quiet have to offer, an appreciation for the minimal as well as the plentiful in the larger composition of our time. How would we orient ourselves differently in these months of distance and isolation if we viewed this time of open space as part of the arrangement of our life story? How could this time add to and enhance the larger arc of our life? As far from being merely a time to get through our past, perhaps this is a unique opportunity to see beyond our more is more agendas, to creatively and meaningfully live in the empty space. Perhaps the isolation and distancing of the coming holidays can be the most generous and meaningful gift we can offer one another. Perhaps we can experience the beauty that can arise from the interplay of what is present and what is absent. And for sure, when the pandemic is over, we will all appreciate what we used to have much more. Let's see. Scarves in the Park is now in its 6th winter season, providing hats, scarves, and mittens to those who need them. Here is an example of the scarves in the park, and they're on a little makeshift Christmas tree, which is really cute. That's great. Nobody should be cold, ever. All right, we're moving right along. some obituaries, but I don't know that there is one for us. We'll find out. Might be a late addition because we did have Vernon Spildy pass away. But we'll try to find his. Decorah resident crowned Iowa Teen Miss United States Agriculture. Decorah teen Grace Gerleman was recently awarded the title of Iowa Teen Miss United States Agriculture. She began her reign as a queen representing only Winneshiek County and has focused her advocacy on ag's identity and mental health within. She's also currently serving as the Northeast FFA District Reporter for the FFA organization. And here is her picture with her crown. Congratulations to Grace. All right, moving right along. West Union family is Santa to children in need. That sounds nice. Here's their picture. Here's the dad, I think, dressed up as Santa. Here's the family. Let's find out. It's all about seeing kids happy at Christmas. That's the motivation for our rural West Union family that has been buying, wrapping, and delivering Christmas presents to families in need for the past 10 years. Derek and Jill Miller first began the quest to put as many presents under as many Christmas trees as possible when their firstborn Shelby was just a baby. The tradition has only continued to grow. We have donated gifts all over the state, said Derek, who grew up in West Union, plans to help 100 children this Christmas. It has really gotten bigger the last 2 years. The idea came to life when a friend of Derek's, a single dad, couldn't afford gifts. Miller, the son of former West Union police officer Randy and a giving mother Deb, reached out to several other families and helped 10 kids that Christmas. In my eyes, every child should have a present under the Christmas tree every Christmas, explained the real-life Santa. Nobody should be left out. We are hoping to give gifts to 100 children this year. That's amazing. Okay, we move on. What else have we got? Lots of family photos and holiday greetings from schools. Let's see. Luther College is changing its schedule again. It's been a tough year for everyone. I don't know what to do. Oh well. All of the help wanted ads, a crossword puzzle. Here's something we can all look forward to, I think. New Winneshiek County Fairgrounds Community Building is on the horizon. Demolition began this week at the Winneshiek County Fairgrounds to make room for the community building. Estimated budget for the project is approximately $970,000. The new building will be used by youth organizations during the fair, along with other local exhibits. Also housed in the new building will be the Winneshiek County Extension Office. New kitchen facilities in the structure will be utilized by the 4-H clubs during the fair, with the capability of serving food both inside and outside. In the off-season, it will be used for any fundraising project, events, banquets, weddings, trade shows, meetings, and more. The Winneshiek County Agricultural Association representative said the new 120 by 180-foot building will replace the current buildings for exhibits, the 4-H Clove Cafe, and other exhibit halls. Completion is anticipated in 2021, hopefully in time for the fair. Anyway, here they're demolishing the former building. That's a big undertaking. All right. Oh, paper's falling apart. Oh no. Oops. And I dropped it on the floor. All right. We're going to go on to Echoes of the Past. 100 years ago, Rural carriers will deliver on Christmas Day. 100 years ago, 1920. On Christmas Day, the rural carriers will be delivering as usual. Parcel post will be delivered by team and carriers in Decorah all day. The regular city carriers, however, will make no delivery in Decorah. Fred Bierman, postmaster, made the announcement. Okay. A.F. Porter and his wife are spending their winter in Miami, Florida. They made the trip by auto. Mr. Porter reports that they took 5 weeks for the 2,600-mile trip and that they had only one puncture and one blowout. That's pretty decent. The old weather flagpole that Ben Bear put up on his corner store some 40 years ago was taken down this afternoon. For many years, it was used to fly weather flags. I don't even know what a weather flag is, so hunt me down and let me know. I'm assuming it's to say what the weather's going to be, but I don't even know. Not long ago, Mayor Bucknell noticed that the top of the pole was leaning dangerously. It was taken down because it had outlived its usefulness. I don't know. All right. The world's greatest fun show, the Katzenjammer Kids, is coming to the Grand Opera House. Feminine loveliness galore. 23 catchy song numbers and 6 gorgeous scenes. This is billed as a big, happy, snappy musical comedy and a great big girl show. Take that however you want. Tickets are $1 plus war tax. I wonder what the war tax was. And are available in advance at Parman's. War tax. The past 4 or 5 weeks have been eloquent with argument in favor of better roads for Winneshiek County and the surrounding area. If a farmer has had produce or stock to sell, he couldn't get it to market on account of the bad roads. In the meantime, the market has fallen, and he has had to feed his livestock, awaiting the time when roads would permit him to bring it to town. The merchants of this county may have lost $200,000 worth of business because the farmers couldn't get in to buy. Everybody has lost out, and there isn't a single winner in the county because of the bad roads. This same condition is likely to exist year after year until vast change is made. The sooner these new roads are built, the better for all. That's from the opinion page 100 years ago. Some time was spent at the recent County Board of Supervisors meeting looking over the interior of the courthouse with a view of having it redecorated soon. The price of the Decorah Journal was to have gone up to $2.50 a year, but because the wood pulp situation is better, the Journal subscription will continue at $2 per year. Carl Arneson, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Otto Arneson of Decorah, has been in the U.S. Navy for about 2 years, and he is now a member of the crew of the battleship Olympia. Since last February, he has been stationed in Spalato in Dalmatia. I wonder what that is now. He sends accounts of his everyday life to his father, and some recent accounts were published in the newspaper. The value of alcohol as a non-freeze liquid in the auto radiator is known to all, but just the right amount to put in the radiator is often a stumbling block. Call an auto man for the exact measurements and temperatures. Sounds like good advice. 1930, 90 years ago. A season's feature dance is December 29th at the Frana Hall over in Calmer. Music will be Geo Katz and his kittens. Theme is A Night in Spain. All right, Geo Katz and his kittens. Front page news, Mrs. Gertrude Haig of Decorah was the recipient of the congratulations and earnest good wishes of many friends and relatives this week. The occasion, as her 90th birthday, which, we are glad to say, sees her in good health and spirits. Her eyes are somewhat impaired, but otherwise she is well. Miss Wilma Sorensen, who teaches over in Bluffton, came home this week to Clay Hill for a Christmas vacation. When Decorah is wrapped in peace and harmony, what could be more disturbing than a street fight? Fights such as these often take place in dark alleys and back streets, but seldom is the public called upon to witness such a lowbrow scene in the town's most prominent street corner. It all happened early the other day when locals heard a terrific and gruesome howl that caused the storekeepers to drop their work and dash into the street. A crowd had gathered to witness the fighters tossing and tearing it up with snow, dirt, and hair flying. Some brave men attempted to part them. A few ladies wept and children howled. After a considerable time, the two dogs were finally pulled apart and went on their homeward way. Speaking of dogs, Leila says, Merry Christmas. All right. Well, she would, but she's not that friendly. All right. Gavin Gerlade has been named Deputy Auditor by County Auditor N.A. Nelson. He was selected from a field of 20 or 30 applicants. Gavin is a product of Decorah, coming here when he was a child. He is a World War veteran and a man of many friends. 11 members of the Oneota Ridge Clothing Club met at the home of Miss Mary Thune last week. 19 apron patterns were cut. 2 methods of mending woolen garments were demonstrated. The next meeting will be at the Henry Olson home. 3 Decorah men, Ted Ellingson, Norman Nilsson, and Bob Morgan, have received Luther College football letters. The Decorah Junior High Science Club, led by Miss Zimmerhuckel, had a party in the kindergarten room last week with a Christmas tree, a Santa Claus, popcorn balls, and more. At the high school last week, the entire 5th period was devoted to a Christmas program. Carols and recitations were conducted. Virginia Hatvet received the only Christmas present on the tree as a prize for having had the neatest locker on the most recent locker inspection. Well, that's nice. A good reward that was probably not even expected. Okay, let me just check to make sure there's nothing else in the paper that we need to read. There's a whole bunch of holiday greetings and whatnots, and also a ton of desserts. Chocolate Kiss cherry cookies, favorite Christmas morning casserole, cream puff dessert, cranberry salsa, peanut butter blossoms, old-fashioned Christmas cookies. All the local businesses kind of put a little Christmas ad in. Cherry walnut bars, peanut butter balls, eggnog sugar cookies, corn pudding. Here is another holiday greeting. We'll read this one. I think we have time. Let me just check my clock. Yep. Okay. This is by Meredith Toussaint from the high school. And here's her photo. As my knees dig into the sticky leather kneeler, the graceful rhythms of Hail Mary, Gentle Woman float all the way up to the soaring ceiling of my grandparents' church. My shoulders rub up against those of my cousins, and the warmly familiar sights and sounds of Christmas Eve Mass overwhelm me. The scent of pine branches from the countless trees placed around the altar surrounds me. A wisp of frigid late December air whistles in through a minuscule crack in the stained glass window. The bright lights strung across the trees and the shimmering candles on the altar cast their glow on the faces of all those around me. As I kneel there after receiving my God, I watch the people filing past me to do the same. A couple with 3 small children parades past us, the plum-colored strings on their daughter's dress fluttering behind her as they hasten towards the altar. The baby in its mother's arms shrieks in delight, and the abrupt noise brings a smile to the faces of parents all across the church as they hear the music of our future. A large extended family troops up the aisle dressed in jeans and sweatpants. It looks as if they forgot about this part of their Christmas celebration and hurried to get out of the door in time, maybe leaving a game of Monopoly splayed across the coffee table. Steaming mugs of hot chocolate stationed around the kitchen island or bits of ribbon and wrapping paper strewn across the soft living room floor. They'll go back to those later, but right now, their beat-up tennis shoes and slippers are placed in front of one another as they saunter up the cold stone floor. In contrast, another family follows with little boys tucked into crisp suits and a group of girls wearing glittery dresses and squeaky clean shoes as if they got ready for Mass all afternoon in a flurry of hairspray, curling irons, and the fruity scent of perfume. I can imagine all the mothers and aunts hovering around the mudroom, licking a finger to wipe a smudge off a son's face or smoothing out their young daughter's skirt one last time before they finally left for church. A woman strides past us wearing a long black gown and holding a small shiny midnight blue purse in the crook of her elbow. Her tall black heels click down the aisle. Looking down at them, I wonder how she kept them so clean with the slushy sandy soup of a Minnesota winter coating the roads and sidewalks outside. An older couple passes, the woman wearing a red, green, and garishly gold Christmas sweater with detailed ornaments stitched on it, which matches her husband's tie. Though they lean heavily on the ends of each pew in order to make it down the aisle, they genuflect all the way to the ground before receiving the Eucharist, their hands clutching the front chairs and their legs quivering like leaves in the wind. A little girl bows her head for a blessing, her father's hands resting on her shoulders, and then she thrusts herself forward to hug the knees of the Eucharistic minister, expressing her thanks in the unabashed manner of children. A disabled man trudges down, his bright red sweater and joyfully contagious smile lighting up the whole church. He reaches over to shake my uncle's hand, then throws out, like candy at a parade, a loud "Merry Christmas" to each person in my family. A woman with snowflake earrings swinging below her snow-white hair ambles up to the front and brings her hands up to receive communion like her life depends on it. She firmly declares "Amen," loud enough for me to hear a few rows back, and strides back to her pew with a bounce in her step that I imagine is always there. The stream of people begins to trickle back into their seats. The cantor is now singing Silent Night in her warbling soprano, and though darkness presses in from outside, the light shining in our hearts and out of our faces seems to overcome it. Shivers go down my spine as I gaze around at the vast web of family that I am a part of on this Christmas Eve night in a big church in a small Minnesota town. As the harsh winter swirls around us outside, I am warmed by these people's presence. I realize in this moment that we all belong to God and we all belong to each other. I realize as I kneel there watching people go past me to receive the body of Christ that we are all the body of Christ. We will never walk alone. That was from Meredith Toussaint. Her sister is Abigail. And there they are. So cute. All right, that's going to be it for current events. Have a great rest of your Christmas, and we'll be back again next Friday.